What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our evening trading stream. My name is David. Welcome. A lot I want to cover today. You know, the title of the show today is crypto. What is the title of the show today? Is crypto about to collapse? Okay, so it's a lot of people worried. A lot of people, their first cycle. A lot of people wondering what the hell's going on. All these YouTubers keep saying that this country's buying and that country's buying and this altcoin is going to do this, but it keeps going down. Put it to this way. This is a cycle that no one really has seen, right? Every cycle is different. And I want you guys to remember one thing, okay? And I briefly talked about this on the live show this morning, but you guys know it's hard to get a word in with Big Rob with his big voice. All jokes aside. Just go back to the 2017 cycle, okay? How many cryptocurrencies were like 2,000? ETH was king. It was the only one really running smart contracts. You had the ICO boom. Everyone was excited. It was like that and I compare it to .com because it's very, very similar, right? You have a brand new industry, brand new technology that people understand is revolutionary. They understand it's going to change a lot of things. People are excited about it. So everyone's frantically trying to figure out who the winners and the losers are. And in the early stages, you can literally close your eyes, throw a dart at literally anything. If you had the coin market cap top 100 individually printed out on your wall like the periodic table, and you blindfolded yourself and you threw a freaking dart at it, you'd probably make money. You'd probably make a 20, 30, 40, 50x. That was 2017. 2021, you kind of have the same thing, right? You have more cryptocurrencies. So there's the same amount of money. Now, I can argue 2020, 2021, we saw more money because of the pandemic, right? Countries were printing money out of thin air, airdropping stimulus checks and whatnot. And so people had a lot of extra money. They couldn't travel, couldn't do anything, you know. And so you can argue maybe there was a little more money in 2021, but still, there are more projects. So now instead of having 100 little symbols of the tokens on your wall, you now have 500 or 1,000. And so you're going to get some misses on that one, right? And the previous cycles, it was always the allure, the potential of what X, Y, and Z blockchain can do. We can hit 1 million TPS. Wait until this company puts their product or service on the blockchain. We're gearing up to serve institutions. We're going to, facilitate payments and remittance. That was 2021. Well, we're in a cycle now where that is here. The wait until fill in the blank is here now. And so what you're going to see, in my personal opinion, what you're going to see is you're going to see a washout of the garbage, of the vaporware. There's nothing wrong with promising certain things in the future and saying, look, we are aiming to do this. Here's our roadmap. But there's projects right now that are able to onboard institutions, that are able to onboard banks, that are able to onboard users, that are able to onboard anything that we've been talking about the last 6 to 10 years. And what we're going to see is you're going to see a washout of the garbage and the cream of the crop will rise to the top. Okay? What are some things I'm personally paying attention to? Okay, if you're sitting there and you're like, my portfolio is down 50%. Look, I took profit on my AI trades, on my AI positions, but my portfolio, I don't even want to tell you the number it's down. It's down pretty damn big. But guess what? It was a risk I knew I was willing to take. It was also a scenario where I knew I had to take profits, which I did, which we tell everyone, even when we give you plays or projects or whatever, it's up to you to decide where you want to take profits, what is good enough, and finding that balance of letting the winners run and not getting too greedy. There's nothing wrong with taking small profits along the way. But my portfolio is down pretty damn big. So if your portfolio's down, I know we saw, there was a couple people in Discord, there's a couple people around me, my friends and family, that their portfolios have taken a huge hit, and we're all there. And the reason I'm not worried is, one, I got in with the amount of money I was comfortable losing. Even if I put $1,000 in a Cardano, I'm looking at that $1,000 and saying, Am I going to need this money in the next 6 months or ever? The answer is no. I can comfortably enter a position into Cardano or really any cryptocurrency out there. And so now is the time, okay? And what I also believe is we're going to get one more big pump, right? There's some that are going to gain a little bit, but they're not going to keep up with the rest of the markets, especially Bitcoin. But AI, you'll get another pump out of AI, right? You'll see projects like AIXBT, projects like Sequoia, projects like DeFi, projects like Ava, some of the blue, like Fartcoin, some of the blue chip AI projects, they'll make new all-time highs. The other ones who people bought on a promise will not, but they'll still rally. And what I want you guys to keep in mind is one thing. The amount of money your portfolio was at with those coins that are not going to make new all-time highs, erase that from your memory. Because chances are it's probably not going back there, okay? Chances are it's probably not going back there. So if you saw your one allocation, let's just take, for example, I'm not going to name a coin. Let's take, for example, coin A. At the height of the AI run, that position you had allocated to got to $10,000. It's probably not going to go back to $10,000 again for a majority of them. Again, the blue chips, the ones that are building, the ones that continue. And I got some stats and metrics I'll share with you here in a second on AI and which ones are really leading. But the other ones that were all just promise and really nothing happening, and you don't really hear from the teams, and they're not really building, and well, are they doing anything or they're not? They're not. So if you see your portfolio, if it's at 2,000 now, it was at 10,000 at its all-time high, erase that 10,000 out of your memory. If that thing gets back up to $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in your portfolio, take profit or exit your position completely. If you get strung up on, well, it was this, let me just get back there, guess what's going to happen? It won't get back there. You'll get even more frustrated, and then you'll round trip your bag, and then maybe next cycle doesn't even get back to that $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 value. And so that is what you want to do. Sit down, take the time, identify your portfolio, break them down and say, okay, why did I enter into this coin? Is that still relevant now? If yes, okay, what do I expect it to do? And where do I want to take profit? You don't want to sit down and have a profit-taking plan when everything is mooning and you're euphoric, because you're going to be like, oh, well, okay, yeah, it 10x, but it's probably going to go up a little bit, just a little more. Instead of, instead of cashing out 9,800, I'm going to cash out 10,000. Guess what? That $200 sometimes will cost you thousands of dollars. So this is the time where markets are down, markets are bleeding. You see the projects and the teams that are likely to stick around. That is the beauty of a bear market. That is the beauty of consolidation phases. That is the beauty of distribution phases, is these are the times to really lock in and view your portfolio, do a complete overview, pick your favorites, pick ones you want to just cut your losses on, pick ones maybe you didn't take profit on that you're still in profit. So my AIXBT position, even though it got up to 90 cents, and I actually sold the top. I'm not trying to gloat, but it was just a luck. Like, I didn't know it was going to be the top. I thought it was going to go to $1.20. I sold a little bit like 91 cents. That ended up being the top. Great. I got in at 3 cents on AIXBT. So even though, and where is AIXBT? Let's take a look where AIXBT is. Sorry, I usually don't ramble or go on rants, but I feel like, people really need to kind of, I know, you look at your portfolio, the prices are down, you get in your emotions. I've been there, man. It sucks. So I really want to just help people understand the dynamics of the market. I've been here since 2016, right? I've really dug my heels in from like 2018, 2019. We're really deep research. So to me, this is like, you've had, when you work out so many times, you get these calluses that are on top of your hands. And so for me, it's been there, done that. Now every cycle is a little different, but AIXBT, for example, it's at 18 cents, right? It's down like 80% off its all-time high of 90 cents. But some of my position is still in profit, majority of it, because I bought it at 3 cents. Now, this could also be an opportunity where I look at it, okay, my position was worth, let's say, 100 grand. Now it's only worth 20 grand. Maybe it doesn't get back up to the 100 grand anymore. I erase that 100 grand out of my memory and I reevaluate the current price, what AIXBT is doing, what I expect it to do. I reevaluate my thesis And then I create a new number in my head. Write it down. So just one thing to keep in mind, guys, and that's just, I kind of wanted to open the show with this. Crypto is not going anywhere. It is maturing. It is an industry and a technology that is going to be integrated on so many levels globally in government, retail, business, institutions, banking, you name it. But we're getting to an inflection point where you're not going to see large amounts of investments into promises. You're going to see large amounts of investments into infrastructure, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, let's take a peek at the comment section. What's going on, everyone? If you haven't seen the show, I'm David. I'm one half of Sin City Crypto. Well, a third of Sin City Crypto. Rocco's our producer. Strafe said, we need to be patient. Yeah, man. And, you know, it's so cliche when you say don't invest more than you can afford to lose. But it's so true. Because if you invested more than you can afford to lose, you're fine. You're not scrambling around trying to pay your bills with the crypto money you had in there. And so that's kind of the reason we always say that. So David said ICP. I think I'm going to cover ICP today. Only meme coins winning are Doge and Pepe. Yeah, I mean, where's Doge and Pepe? You know, now that you brought that up, my friend, let's take a peek at good old Doge and good old Pepelito. All right, so this is the daily on Doge. Everything just getting crushed. Well, Doge is at a pretty good level here. It's a two hour support at 2466. And so look, it's not just your portfolio. Literally everything is bleeding. The only people, really, I mean, here, just go here. The only people that are really maybe doing okay is like people that have a majority of their portfolio in like BTC, Sonic, Litecoin. Someone said, why do you guys dismiss Litecoin? I do not dismiss Litecoin. That's my co-host. I actually like Litecoin. I think it's going to make a new all-time high. But, you know, back to the thesis of meme coins, I'm telling you, man, just look at the trend. Look at when Trump launched, when Melania launched, when Libra launched, and when that cuck guy launched his Atom 22. Every single time, it was like diminished returns. So Trump ran to 70 billion, crashed. Melania ran to like 40 something, crashed, or 30 something. Libra ran to, I don't know what, 6 or 7. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Crashed. And the last one, 4 million, and it crashed. So people are wising up. They're like, look, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Do I think meme coins, the community tokens, the idea of meme coins is going away? No, absolutely not. But the meta of let me fly into a meme coin at a 1 million or a 500K market cap and hold it for a 20 or 100X, I think those days are over. For the meantime, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it comes back. I don't know. I'll tell you what, personally, I am not touching. God himself could launch a meme coin and I would not buy it. Okay. I just think it's really not worth it. When you look at the rest of the markets, right? And here's the other thing I'd recommend to you guys. If you're getting ready to, depending on how far down the risk curve you go, let's say you want to get into something riskier, sub 20 million market cap, take a look at that project and then take a look at the top 100, okay? Projects or even the top 50. Let's start here. Jupiter. Could you get better returns than you can get on Jupiter and not take a massive amount of risk? What about Algorand? What about VeChain? What about Kronos? What about Caspa? BitTensor. I love BitTensor so much. Oh my God. Guys, I'm telling you, this DTAO rollout, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a race to like, I'll put it to you this way. Subnets are going to be fighting for the DTAO to be staked on their subnet. And what does that mean? That means you're going to see more people building, subnets getting better, and you're going to see something revolutionary come out of this. I'm telling you in the next 6 months. I'm a huge fan of BitTensor, and you look at only 8 million tokens circulating, 21 million in existence, max period. Oh, man, to me, I don't know. Unless you don't believe in AI, to me, this is a no-brainer. ICP. Is it worth the risk, or would you rather go into a project like ICP that has the infrastructure? It's got the largest development team, right, of scientists in the world when it comes to blockchain. It's got the infrastructure in play. It's got a lot of verticals, does things that really no one else can do on a scalable level. You take a look at Ondo with the partnerships they're having and the amount of people they're going to onboard. The Ondo chain was just announced. RWAs, are you bullish on that? Is that worth the risk versus investing in what you plan on doing? So that is what I would do, especially during times like this. Now, if we're in the absolute heat of a bull market, this fear and greed here is at like 80, 85. Cardano's at $6, Bitcoin's at 220, ETH is at, $8,000-$9,000, XRP is at $8. Then okay, then that changes the scenario, right? Then you go back and you look at a $20 million meme coin and say, you know what, or a $20 coin, you can say, you know what, I can make more money and the risk is equivalent, pretty much the same. Because the risk of, let's say, Chainlink at $80, that being the top, is a lot higher than a $20 million market cap coin who has, based on your research and I don't know, whatever utility it has, if your thesis is it's going to grow because of X, Y, Z, then you can look at the two scenarios and say, okay, it's less risky to try to, not buy the top of Chainlink versus buying the top of a $20 million altcoin. So that's kind of would be my thing. But you mentioned Doge again. Doge, everything is just like in a big bear flag, okay? I like patterns. Some traders don't like patterns. I like patterns, which is fine. Every trader does things differently. But these, to me, like every chart is just bear flag. And you can see this one breaking to the downside, right? You take a look at Pepe. Someone mentioned Pepe. Let's take a look at Pepe. Oh, look at that. A giant bear flag, which breaks to the downside. And so, I don't know. You know what I was thinking? I've gotten cooked on a couple trades, but I have stop losses in. So usually kind of cut my losses, or depending on support, resistance, and other factors. I typically cut my losses around 16 to 22%. Took a beating on Bitcoin. Oh man, that thing was bouncing and then just flushed down to 94, like 93.9. I think my stop loss was at 94.4. Same thing with Solana. Solana's setup, you had bullish divergence. So sometimes it doesn't matter what the charts say. It's just the sentiment of the market. So I think my strategy, unless something is glaring on a high time frame, or we feel like a overall macro reversal is coming, what I plan on doing is shorting the runs up to resistance versus buying support. And that thing can change. You take a look at this. So instead of, and hey, I could be wrong, totally fine. Instead of buying support here, I'd rather short resistance at this level. I'd rather short resistance at this level. Short resistance at this level. Because you take a look, you take a look, it's just like we are unequivocally in a downtrend. Right? Like you don't have to be an absolute genius to figure that out. We are in a downtrend. Everything says that we are in a downtrend. Okay. Throw on your MA ribbons. We're trading below our 200-day moving average ribbons, right? So we're in a downtrend. It's okay. We can still make money bi-directionally, right? You don't have to only be able to make money when the markets are hot. When the markets are going up, you can easily make money when the markets are down. So that will be my area of focus, because anytime I lose money on a trade, on a call, I always look back, I reevaluate, what could I have done differently? What did I miss? What did I get? And I try to get better each and every time. All right, I'm just going to peek into the chat. Also, I will randomly just hop into the chat, take a look at what you guys are talking about. I would love for you guys to remain active, speak with each other. If you have any ideas or comments, please feel free to put them in there. I might just hop in here and randomly pick some stuff. And, I'm a very spontaneous person, so I might be doing a giveaway. Speaking of giveaways, I do want to share our updated ranking. So if you're not familiar, we are currently 2 days into a trading competition where we are doing weekly giveaways of $300 to the top ROI trader, not top volume, top ROI. And we're doing a 4-week cumulative reward as well, where the top ROI over the 4 weeks will get 500, second place 300, third place 200, and at the very end also, there we go. I was like, wait, are we doing the volume? At the very end also, the highest volume will get $300. This is no strings attached into your spot wallet on Buy DeFi. You can cash it out. So Adrian, the markets are brutal. Look. And Adrian and anyone else on here, this is not a shot against you guys, but it's a pretty low barrier to get on the top of this leaderboard and win yourself $300, right? We're going to do that every single Monday for the next 4 weeks. And so if you haven't signed up, the link is in the description of this video. Make sure to sign up. Also, there might be a scenario where second place maybe was super close, or I don't know, maybe throw some extra money on top of it. But at the end of the day, this is something that rewards the community. It takes nothing out of you. If you're already trading anyways, or if you've been interested in trading, sign up. With our link, you'll automatically be included in this competition. As long as you hit 100,000 in volume, which is an extremely low barrier. I've talked about this. You'll be good to go. All right. I want to take a look at this. So this has always been a very intriguing chart to me. Okay. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet, the psychology of a market cycle. Okay. Every year it kind of follows, or every cycle, this is what we see, right? You see run up into the bull market, people are like, oh my God, okay, we're moving. And then we start making new all-time highs and people are optimism, and then euphoria, price starts to sell off. We got another run up. In Bitcoin's case in 2021, we got a double top. Usually it's just another run up. It's a final shakeout before that bull trap gets in there, and then bam, bear market, right? Don't ask me about my pew pew pew. Anyways, so Ali Charts, which I'm big fan of his stuff, definitely go recommend you follow him. He thinks we're into the depression cycle, or depression phase of this cycle. Okay, I want to know what you guys think in the chat. Why does this thing always sleep on me? Stupid. Okay, let me do it this way. No, and that's not working. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have this haptic mouse pad that just keeps freaking going to sleep. I'm about to throw it in the garbage. All right. There we go. Come on. Get smaller. Not something you hear often. Okay. I am done with this. I'm just going to go back here. Okay. Anyways. There we go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm curious. Sorry about that. Curious to think where you guys think we are based off of this cheat sheet. Do you think we're in hope? Do you think we're in panic? Or do you agree with Ali and think we're in depression? Where I think we are. Okay, here's the thing. If we were in depression, that would mean that the top already happened. Okay? Top already happened. We're technically in a bear market, if you believe we're in depression. But I've also floated the idea that we might be in a new phase where instead of 4-year cycles, I know this is going to be maybe not the most popular opinion to have, but instead of the 4-year long drawn out cycles, we have mini cycles, right? Big run up, new all-time high by $10,000, and then sell off, consolidation, new all-time high by $10,000. Speaking, of course, of Bitcoin. And then rinse and repeat versus a year and a half of up only, and then 2.5 years of just absolute panic, depression, capitulation, anger, disbelief. But I'm curious to see where you guys think we are in this chart. I'm really struggling. Like, I can see the depression, because Bitcoin is still grinding higher. I mean, let's go to the BTC chart here. If you go to the hourly or the daily, right? I mean, we're still like 92.1. If we close below 92.1, and I'll just drop a horizontal line on here. If we break below 92.1, for me, they'll be like, okay, well, maybe we're in a downtrend. I mean, here, let's throw on our cloud. Okay, so bearish on the daily. Zoom out to the week. So still in an uptrend on the weekly, right? Put in a higher high, put in a higher low. Again, we don't really, I would not sit there and panic. And when I say panic, meaning like, oh, market's over. Well, we'll wait. I don't know how many more years for the market to come back. But is this level here is around 70K. If we break 70K, I know that's something Magic's talked about. Then I'll be like, okay, but if you just zoom out, right? Like a lot of people tell you to do, myself included. If you zoom out, this is an uptrend for BTC, right? So I'm not too worried about Bitcoin. Obviously, small price action outside of just trying to scalp, swing, and make money. I'm not too worried about BTC's price action. But I'm curious where you guys think we are on this chart here. So with that being said, take a peek. Jimmy Bitcoin said depression. Okay, we are still in a bear market. Crypto Gab, I don't know about that because we made a new all-time high. So, Papa said anxiety. Okay, let me take a look. Anxiety on the way down. Okay, I can see anxiety. Cryptomaniac said panic. James, what's up, James? Said believe between optimism and belief. Between optimism and belief. Where's that at? Optimism and belief. Okay, so on the way up, just a big downtrend. Okay, I can see that too. Anime Lover said people are panicking, but there's so many positive signs. I agree, man. I agree. You know, you take a look. If someone were to tell you, if I were to tell you, and if you've been in crypto since, let's just say 2020, if I came to you last year at same time last year, March, you know what? Actually, let's rewind a little back more. If I came to you before the Bitcoin ETFs got approved, okay, when everyone was getting sued, Wells notices were being sent out. We had no idea if we were going to get an ETF. And I came to you and I said, hey, let me pick on JMS. Hey, JMS, guess what, dude? In 2025, we're going to get a president that has a DeFi project that loves Bitcoin. He's going to actually speak at the Bitcoin conference. Oh, we're also going to have a new chair of the SEC that is a super big crypto bull. Oh yeah, also the Treasury Secretary actually holds Bitcoin himself and he's going to run the Treasury. Oh, and then one more thing. The Vice President has $500,000 in Bitcoin. Also, the Secretary of Health and Human Services says most of his wealth is in Bitcoin. He's the Secretary. And also, the Treasury or the Secretary of Commerce owns one of the largest companies and he actually works with Tether. If I would have told you that and you fast forward to now, would you be as bearish as you are? Probably not. And so it's easy to fall into the thought in your mind, the hamster wheel keeps spinning and you're like, what is going on? Oh my God, is the market over? Take a step back, grab yourself a Ghost, okay? Which, by the way, Ghost, if you're watching, you're a Vegas local, man. Sponsor the channel. I love this flavor. It's my favorite, pink lemonade. All jokes aside, man, spend time with family, go out, step away from everything for like, even if it's for a day, and just zoom out, take a scope and just look at what is happening, what are we doing, and what is going on in the space. And you'll come back again and you'll be pretty bullish. So someone said, show it again. Here you go. Leave this up here for like 2 seconds. All right. Also, I saw my boy Big Robin here. What's up, Big Rob? How you doing, brother? All right. Let's take a peek at some inflows. Also, if you're new here, say hello. I will try my best to do an hola. Just kidding, Robin. I won't do an hola. Okay, these are flows. I'm gonna go full screen on this one, guys. So I don't want anything to get cut off. So these are inflows over the last on a 1 hour interval of all the projects. So who's getting the most amount of inflows? Litecoin is. Well, actually, BNB is. BNB is getting 2 million. Litecoin is getting 1.5. Where is Litecoin getting its liquidity from? You know what? Actually, I can do this. Where is Litecoin getting its utility from? Or its utility? Its inflows from? Well, a majority of it's coming from BTC, around $722,000. Then you have another 400,000 coming in from USD, and then Euro and the Turkish Lira. BNB is seeing 2 million of inflows. By the way, to our Patreon members, I did a write-up on the potential next meta, and it involves BNB, some projects in there that I believe could be beneficiaries. So shout out to all the Patreon members. If you want to join, there's a link in the description. We're able to make an absolute killing in AI. We were able to front run that thing. And so we always keep our ear to the grind, or our nose to the grind, and find the next big nerves that can make you a lot of money. Apex, which again, this is pretty much a perp exchange. Dude, these guys allow you to do 1,000x leverage. For the love of God, Don't do 1,000x leverage. You will literally lose your money. Mantra. So this one, Mantra's been one I've been keeping my eye on. So this is an L1 that's specifically tailored to RWAs. And let's just go and take a look at the Mantra chart, OM. And this thing has just been, you know what it said? This thing said, screw the rest of the markets. I am going to annihilate everyone. Let's take a look at, I don't think I have it on here. Let's take a look at OM versus Bitcoin from Binance. It's been, where'd it go? Right here. It has been crushing Bitcoin. Let's go OM versus ETH. I'm not going to do ETH because crushed everything, but everything, ETH's been crushed by everything. And looks like we don't have a pair to anything else. Okay, I wanted to take a look at Solana. Let's take a look if we can find ADA. No, not even ETH. Okay, all right. So we'll stick with OM versus BTC and then OM versus the dollar. But this is the versus Bitcoin chart on the daily. I mean, you want to talk about, just look at this pattern, right? Oh, we rally and then step back, right? Rally, step back, rally to the upside, a little bit downside. And then so the point is we are just grinding upwards no matter what the market is doing. I'm actually curious. Up 50%, wick to low, 11% drawdown, right? Let's take a look at this move here. Up 26%. Wick to down 11%. Up on the one day candle up 25% and the consolidation to the downside. So this has been one of the very few altcoins that has just absolutely destroyed everyone, including BTC. I'm gonna go back to the daily on this one, and again, this was and I'll go to I believe I was looking at the 12-hour. There was a nice bull flag on the 12-hour, and it looks like it's already broke. Let me remove this. Let's take a look at some SR levels. So this is 2-hour, 12-hour. Yeah, I mean, you see that 820 is the level. Now, this is one. Now, I know I said in the beginning of the show, I said that I would potentially, my new strategy would be to, instead of long the support, short the resistance because of the current market conditions. This is one where I would be afraid. Honestly, I would be afraid to short the resistance because anytime this thing has tapped resistance, sure, it's come back down, but it's blew right through it, like literally the very next candle over. And so I don't want to be caught in a position where, they say don't try to catch a falling knife. Whatever the opposite analogy of that is what Mantra is. And again, it's a layer one for RWAs, which we've been talking about this on our show. We believe that RWAs are going to be the AI narrative of a month and a half ago. And when you talk about RWAs, Mantra, Ondo, Hedera, throw Cardano ICP in there, definitely XLM, definitely Ethereum, definitely Solana. In fact, let's go and take a look at the leading protocols for RWA. Okay, so overall, network-wise, Ethereum leads the way with around a 52% market share. ZK Sync comes in at number 2 with a 26% market share. And then Stellar Lumens, wow, look at this. Look at this, up 38%. Huh, okay. So interesting. Let's go to Stellar chart. Let's see if Stellar. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind, guys, is you might see like really bullish on-chain statistics and this and that, and then the price just does the opposite. And so, which is very well what we're seeing. I mean, XLM, look at the confluence of support we have on multiple time frames. The 2, the 12, the 2-hour, the 12-hour, and the 1-day confluence. And you take a look at every time XLM's price has come down here. Let's go all the way back to December 20th. Literally in one candle, we took back everything we gave up the previous day, right here, right? And then from low to high, we rallied around 33%. We can call this move here, same thing, right? bounced off that 31.9 cent level, ran up another 51%. Now, the last few times, the moves haven't been as big, but a wick down and a gain of 23%. We consolidated here for a little bit, and then I guess the more previous time would be back here on the 9th of February. We ran up around 18%. So XLM is one that I've been literally pounding my head on the table on the live show from 9 cents. From 9 cents talking about XLM is extremely undervalued. And I mean, 5% market share, it is up 33%. So it's making headway, up 38% on TVL, or at least on value on the chain. Aptos, Polygon, Avalanche, Solana, Base, and Optimism round out the top 10. This is a cool website, guys. It's app.rwa.xyz. You can go in here. You can click on all different ones like, hey, who's the leader in stable coins? Who's the leader on U.S. Treasuries, right? Global bonds, private credit, commodities, stocks, and more. That's just one thing. And so RWA, again, will be a huge one. And I mentioned XLM, Solana. We're going to see a big run up out of RWAs. All right. Going back to this now, some of the other big flows, you have Solana starting to see some inflows, all of it from BTC around 900K. Now the outflows, okay? Largest outflow winner is XRP, with a majority of it flowing into stables. So people are cashing out, right? USDT, USD, FDUSD, and Korean won. Number 2 is your Solana, which a majority of that, again, is going to stables or cashing out. There's a little bit going to ETH as well. So interesting here. So the ETH is around 600K. So $600,000 worth of Solana has flowed into Ethereum in the 1 hour interval. And then you have some of the other ones here, Sui, Doge, Litecoin. Again, guys, I'm telling you, I don't care what Robin says on the show. Robin, if you're watching, I don't care what you say on the show. ETH is going to make a massive comeback. I'm not saying it's going to outperform BTC, but it's going to make a big, big comeback. All right, let's talk a little bit about AI. Again, I'm a believer that the AI markets will bounce back in a big way. Some will trend to zero. Other ones are going to absolutely explode. So this is posted by Alphanomics. Top holders of these AI agent tokens have been stacking up over the past few weeks. FAI, AION, Game, and Sequoia. And then this from Dune Analytics. And so these are, now this is specifically to the virtual protocol ecosystem. And I'm going to go full screen here, guys, because I don't want any information to be cut off. And so here's what we're looking at from Dune Analytics. So AI agent market cap, by far the leader is AI XBT. This thing ran up to almost $1 billion market cap. It is currently sitting at $183 million. If you are a believer of artificial intelligence and that Meta is going to come back, not financial advice, man, but this is you'll do well on that. Game, and then you have Vader and Luna, and then some of the other ones. Total agent market cap is down to 403 million. And then just activity across the board has really taken a nosedive. I mean, we really hit a peak on January 1st, and then it's just been dwindling down. I mean, you take a look at just today, daily active wallets ain't looking good. And then daily active wallets by chain, you know, at the height of it, Base was absolute dominance. Now, Solana, you can see here, right? Your orange is Solana, your blue is Base. Solana was starting to catch some ground, and then Base took all that market share back. I'm telling you that whole meme coin shenanigan. And look, I'm not blaming Solana, the blockchain, okay? I'm not saying Solana, it's Solana's fault. Solana is just a network, right? It's just a ledger. That's it. But what people are doing on that platform, and they've chosen to do it on Solana, is not a good look. And I think it turns a lot of people off to Solana. That's why you consistently see outflows. But the good thing about Solana is it's not just meme coins. I know the transactions have been vastly outnumbered by meme coins. 75 to 90% of all transactions were from meme coin trades. But it's still got a lot of different narratives, stable coins, RWA, tokenization, right? But we need that to start kicking up. Until then, I would be very cautious with Solana. And then take a look at daily DEX volume. AI XBT leads the way. And then there's a few new ones that came out. I used to drop some prototype agents into the Alpha Discord for our Patreon members. Outside of two, which is Billy and Tracy. And Tracy is actually backed by, if you're an NBA fan, Tristan Thompson, used to play for the Cavaliers with LeBron James. And then Billy, I'm not sure who launched Billy, but it's leveraging a BitTensor subnet. And I think it was the first to put in a $100,000 bet on Polytrader as an AI agent. And so outside of those two, everything just runs up to like 500K. And then the snipers at that point have already bought and they just dump on everyone. There's just not enough market breadth and there's not enough liquidity to sustain multiple projects and multiple new projects. Unless, again, in the case of Billy, they got support from the Virtuals team. And in the case of Tracy, they got a big name behind it in that NBA player, Tristan Thompson. And then daily trading revenue has also been down again, but you didn't need me to tell you that because, well, your portfolios are down. And then one thing I do want to mention, this chart here, daily, and let me swap over to the other side. Daily AI agents created, okay? Why? I am literally going to, this thing right here is giving me nightmares. I'm trying to expand this for you guys. But anyways, daily AI agents created, and I look at this as a good thing. I look at this as a great thing. And so I'm curious to see when this thing bounces back. Now, there's a few that I have on my list that I am not getting rid of. I haven't done anything to. I actually added some. AI XBT. I know there's a lot of talk about Sequoia. They're going through a rebranding, and typically when that happens, people panic, they sell, they don't know what's going on, but nothing fundamentally has changed outside of the name. And Ava is another one I'm bullish on. YNE is another one I think is going to come back. And these are all projects that no matter what the price has done, have continued to build. All right, let me take a quick break and take a look at the chat here. Let's see. I got a little dry mouth here. I'm not used to talking this much. I got my boy Rob with me usually. So Destroyer, what's up? Super Dave. What's up, brother? My ex said I'm the ghost with the most. Interesting. And yet the altcoin market is close to all-time lows. Is it? Is the altcoin market close to all-time lows? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Is Ethereum close to all-time lows? I'm assuming you're speaking about this cycle. If you remember, ETH got down to around $1,000. So no, it's a 2x, 3x. XRP definitely not near all-time lows. In fact, it's still up 6x from from like 2 months ago, right? It was at 50 cents. Tether, though, it is at all-time lows, unfortunately. BNB, right? Your best hedge against the bear market, BNB. That was the first altcoin to make a new all-time high in this cycle. Solana, from $12 to $167, definitely not near all-time lows. And so this is what I mean. And I'm not trying to pick on you here, my friend. Who was that? That was whoever put that. Oh yeah, Tiny Taste Buds. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just trying to help you kind of zoom out. Your portfolio might be at lows, but the altcoin market, the quality ones, they are not at all-time lows. And so you look at Litecoin, right? Litecoin has been crushing it. $132. And let's pull up a Litecoin chart. You know what? Let's start with a Litecoin versus BTC chart. Let's see what that looks like. Where are you, Litecoin? Litecoin versus Bitcoin has just been absolutely destroying BTC on the 12-hour. Take a look at the daily, same thing. And we can even see a little inverse head and shoulders here on the Litecoin versus Bitcoin chart, right? Potential, shoulder, head, potential shoulder. Break to the upside. Where's your neckline? Your neckline is right there, right? And you take the depth of the head, right? Take the depth of the head. And what does that look like? I know this is kind of sloppy, but what does that look like? That looks like Litecoin with a 22% gain against BTC. So Litecoin is looking really good. Again, Robin, what say you now, my friend? Now, why is Litecoin going up? I am telling you, and it happens every single cycle. Every single cycle. Bitcoin starts to run and people make money on Bitcoin. And this is actually in our almanac, right? I did an entire write-up on the psychology of market cycles, how money flows, why it flows, and the psychology behind it. People get excited because Bitcoin starts going up. Then like, okay, cool. Like I made 20 grand on Bitcoin. Okay, like let me go further down the risk curve. And then that goes further down. And at the end of the day, people on the bottom get absolutely destroyed. And they come back to Bitcoin because they're like, oh, man, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with new launches. I don't want to deal with snipers. I don't want to deal with the rug pulls and scams. I'm just going to put my money in Bitcoin. It's been around the longest. It's the most decentralized. It's got the most wallets, the most users, the most liquidity, the most highest market cap. Litecoin, been around for a very long time. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think that's what we're going to see with ETH. That's what we're going to see with Cardano. That's what we're going to see with Hedera, with Algorand, with all these projects. A lot of people call them dino coins, but I'm telling you, man, in this case, in my opinion, the new era of the retail investor, longevity is going to mean something. And so you got to flight to quality, you got to flight to longevity. Go back to the chart here, or to the chat here. Alex, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Alex, I want to get you back on our live show in the morning. Habits, attitude, luck, whether it's altcoins are born. I remember Litecoin at $400 back in 2021. Yeah, I think it's going to surpass that $400. Y'all think the Litecoin ETF will move the needle at all? I think you're seeing that now, right, Destroyer? I think you're seeing that now. Look at Bitcoin and ETH. Prior to it going live, it ran. And I'm pulling up a Litecoin chart here, right? Prior to Bitcoin and ETH getting their ETF, right? This is back on right here, right? When was it announced that they were going to approve the ETF? Like November, December, right? November, December, like around here, right? And Bitcoin just ran. It ran into the actual, let's just take, I don't know, let's take November 22nd. What did it run up? 110% into the launch, and then chop, 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 chop. Look at ETH. ETH was more, oh shit, it's going to get approved, and it happened in a day. And that's why you see this 20% daily candle, right? ETH ran up from low to high, 35%, spilled off, chop, 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 down. So what are we seeing with Litecoin? Let's go back and take a look at Litecoin. What's Litecoin doing, right? Just been chopping sideways, and all of a sudden, from the 6th of February, so 12 days ago, and to be fair, Litecoin's actually been running since November of last year. It's just no one's been paying attention to it. Sometimes myself included. It's not the sexiest project. It's not. But guess what? It's held up very well, not just against Bitcoin, but against the rest of the markets as well. You know, in fact, I am curious. I am very curious. Let's go Litecoin versus ETH. What does that chart look like? That chart looks like, yeah, hopefully you were not an ETH over Litecoin. Let's take a look at Litecoin versus Solana. Oh, God dang it. Litecoin versus ADA. Nope. It's not Litecoin versus BNB. There we go. Litecoin versus BNB. I'm curious to actually see how this one is. This one's a little more fair, right? We've seen it really outperform BNB since November of last year, right? Against Binance Coin, Litecoin has gained 72%. And so, and I can argue if I were able to throw on the rest of them on here, like Solana, like Cardano, like really anything else, Litecoin would have outperformed them as well. And so I think the whole idea, Destroyer, of are we going to see it? I think we're seeing it now to some extent, right? this move from $100 while everything else is going down up to that $134 level. I think you're seeing that now. That's what you're seeing. And you guys got to remember too. You know what? Actually, I'm very curious today. How much Litecoin does Grayscale have in their trust? $215 million. Okay. $215 million, according to the, oh, here we go. Straight from the horse's mouth. All right. So this is the Litecoin Trust. This is on Grayscale. Now, why am I showing this? I'll tell you right now. The reason I'm showing this is because what we saw with Bitcoin and Ethereum, Grayscale had a trust with a lot of Bitcoin, and they converted that trust to a spot ETF. But the problem is, you see this fee, this 2.5% management fee, was 6 times higher than the rest. Actually, it was like 10 times higher. You had some ETF issuers at 0.25. Grayscale kept theirs at 2.5. And so obviously, no one's going to pay 10 times the amount for the same service they can get with arguably a more well-known, well-respected company like BlackRock, like Fidelity. So we saw massive amount of outflows as we swapped from a trust to a spot ETF. Same thing with Ethereum. Now with the ETH one, it was a little tweak. We saw them not only convert the trust to a spot, but we also saw at the same time, in congruence, launch a mini Ethereum ETF from scratch. But again, that fee was higher too. And there was ETH in there as well. And we saw a sell-off. Now, Litecoins, let's take a look. $258 million of Litecoin in their trust that we can assume that the trust will get converted into a spot. And we can also assume that they're not going to want to let go of this 2.5. They're going to keep it the same, just like they did with Bitcoin, just like they did with ETH. And maybe they launch another product next to it. But obviously the impact of the selling, it ain't 30 billion like it was Bitcoin. It ain't 8 billion like it was Ethereum. It's only 258 million. So I don't think we see that big sell-off like we saw with Bitcoin and ETH. Now, the one thing Bitcoin had going for it is people have been waiting for the Bitcoin ETF. It was the most world-renowned cryptocurrency. So you saw a lot of people wanting to buy. ETH was a little different. People don't really understand ETH. They understand Bitcoin, it's digital gold. Well, what's ETH? It's the internet. Well, what does that mean? It's the smart contract layer. Well, what does that mean? What's a smart contract? So a lot easier, a lot clearer thesis on why I should invest in Bitcoin from Wall Street versus ETH. What is it? What does it do? What's a stake? I think we'll see something similar, but again, Litecoin. So I wouldn't worry about a big sell-off like we saw with Bitcoin and ETH, but we'll see. I guess the markets will tell us. All right. Crypto is dead. No, it's not. So to answer the question in the title, no, crypto is not dead. If you want to know what I think, go to the very beginning of today's show, and you'll see my thoughts. Don't leverage trade. You will lose money investing in intelligent. You know, Vladikis, for a majority of people, my friend, I agree with you. I agree. Some people, they're willing to put the time in. They're willing to understand charting. And if they're willing to not get greedy and set stop losses and take profit targets, I think leverage trading is a great way to make money. I used to crush it in options trading. I loved options trading. Essentially, when you're options trading, you're 100x leverage. You're 100x leverage. And so, yeah. But for the most part, Vladikis, I agree. Majority of people, they try to leverage trade because they hear someone, they don't put the time in, they don't put the work in, and they end up losing their shirt. I agree. To those people, the easiest thing, and I'll give you this piece of advice here. If you are just in crypto, you're watching this show, you're watching another show, and maybe a friend told you about it, and you're intrigued by it. You want some exposure to it. You don't care to learn about decentralization. You don't care to self-custody. You don't care like these, like, oh my God, we're going to take over. You don't care. You just see this company made X amount of money because they held a Bitcoin ETF. My friend made 300% in 3 years because he held Bitcoin. And you just want some exposure. Log in to your Fidelity account, buy the Bitcoin ETF, and just, that's it. Easy. You'll make money. You won't make as much money as the people that are actually put in the work and the extra time to learn and understanding. But hey, there is nothing wrong with earning on a compounded annual rate 30% over 10 years. There is nothing wrong with that. Now, I'm not that guy. I like to make more money and I'm a little bit of a degen. But to the average people, there is nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with buying an ETF, not having to worry about writing a seed phrase and, oh my God, where do I put this? And what if I lose it? And how do I send it here? Just log in, buy the ETF, and just sit, bro. Sit, wait 4 years. 4 years. Even if you bought the top, if you wait 4 years, you will make money. You will make money. John said, Crow is a sleeping giant. I'm a big fan of Crow. So many discounted. You know what? To kind of wrap this thing up, I'm going to turbo blast through the top 100, okay? I'm going to turbo blast the top 100, and I'm going to tell you, at the price now, am I a buyer? Am I a seller? Buyer, seller, buyer. I'll come back to this one. Buyer, seller, buyer. Only because it's ran hot. Seller, buyer, right? I mean, Hedera, 20 cents. Look at a Hedera chart. Where's Hedera? This is Hedera on the daily, okay? So let's take a quick peek. So we're okay. We're starting to see some green on the shorter time frames. This level, though, I'll tell you, this 25-cent level was pretty key, and we lost it. But the next big level here is going to be 17.68 cents. 17.6. Let's take a look at where volume's coming in. Yeah, and then on the way up, 30 cents is going to be, you're going to see some resistance at 30 cents. And then, yeah, it's just, at least on the daily. I mean, you zoom out to the 4 hour. And again, what did I say in the beginning of the show? Everything is looking like a bear flag setup that'll break to the downside. And so just proceed with caution. I'm telling you, until we see a reversal in the overall macro trend of the markets, which right now, obviously, right, you can tell it's down, right? It's down. The easiest way to do this is to throw on your cloud. Are we trading above or below the cloud? And is the cloud green or red? The cloud is red and we're trading below. So we're in a downtrend. On the weekly, in an uptrend. So if you're trading daily or lower time frames, my advice to you would be, instead of longing support, short the resistance until we see structure break, structure change. You go to the total 3. This is everything minus Bitcoin and ETH. Okay. Again, in a downtrend. And again, everything is setting up like a ginormous bear flag. It's just the market, man. So the play here would have been, okay. And it's also good to go back retroactively. Take a look at what you could have done. The play here would be would have been to short this level, right? Short the level. It's coming out of a bear flag, right? And break this thing to the upside. And if obviously you can't you can't put a trade in on the total market cap, but this would have netted you, if this was a coin, this would have netted you 10% multiplied by however much leverage you have on it. So, and this is total 2. This is including Bitcoin. Again, bull flag or bear flag, break to the downside. So until we see something structurally change, my advice and what I plan on personally doing is shorting the resistance until I see something fundamentally change on the charts for the altcoins. So that'll do it for tonight's show. I just want to thank all of you for tuning in and watching. Appreciate all of you. I see a lot of new faces in here. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And We'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pacific for the morning live show where you're going to get all the news. The team will be there. And then tomorrow evening, again at same time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'll be coming on live from my home setup to look over charts, metrics. So fundamentals and technicals, that is what we do on the night show. We just want to give you a well-rounded perspective, news, and more in-depth technical and fundamental analysis. So I hope you guys enjoy the content. I love you guys, each and every one of you. The one thing I will say is don't overthink it. Do not overthink it. Everything's going to be okay. Some of your projects that you're holding, you're not going to get back to all-time highs. And that's okay. I've been there. I have some in my portfolios that I know are not going to get back to all-time highs, and I'm okay with that. But if you win more than you lose, and you hit big on the right ones, and you have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The discipline to stick to your profit-taking plan and not over-leverage yourself, you'll make a lot of money. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Until then, peace.